two of our great unlock hosts, Blessed and Amundi. And today we are going to kind of follow up on the discussion we had yesterday around loneliness. And we're going to move a little bit to try to understand as you transition out of loneliness. What is that like? How do you get out of that without all the residue of that frequency that you've been in for so long? So I'm going to
Hmm.
open up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's you'll probably see some of that when you've got those old thought patterns that you're transitioning out of. You've got the ideas down about, okay, I got myself straight inside. So now it'll start reflecting on the outside. And you start seeing the little fruits of that, the flowers that are blossoming in your life. But then you still see the weeds. And well, the weeds are there because you had all this momentum built up and we deal with time here. So they'll fall away. You just have to acknowledge the flowers while not giving your attention and focus and energy away to the weeds anymore, because the flowers will overtake them, if that makes sense. That'd be my like hot take on that. I don't know. What do you think, Amoni?
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I mean, where attention goes, energy flows. So that has to be
Right.
remembered. So if you keep on being that soldier, having that didn't get the memo that the war is over, and you keep fighting and looking for justification as far as why everyone should feel sorry for yourself, or sorry, or you should feel sorry for yourself, it's definitely not going to help. And
Hmm.
part of the loneliness, I mean, I remember yesterday saying like misery like misery. So part of feeling lonely is a misinterpretation of what the actual state is. So, are you longing for something? That's a bit different. It's a different approach. You acknowledge your feelings and what you desire in your life. So, yeah, I think you have to look around sometimes, zoom out of your situation, and start being, showing gratitude for the thing you have. And one thing often we forget is we have ourselves. Being healthy could be one of them. And I understand some people can feel lonely and they're not healthy either, and sometimes not being healthy contribute to your loneliness. But staying in this pattern, even though something come into your life, could also jeopardize your ability to realize you just got what you were looking for this time. So
Right.
that's how I interpret it,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you know
It's
what I mean.
a good, bad, and in between. It's all coming to you given your own beliefs and thought patterns on those, which, I mean, a belief is basically just a thought pattern. But uh, yeah, if you're unhealthy right now and you've got an ailment that's really bothering you, how much attention are you giving to it in association with I am unwell, you know, I have an issue, disability, whatever it is, some kind of negative connotation you keep putting back on yourself about it. Um, Anything like that will get in the way of you rising out of that space. And in this case, given the context of this month and what we're doing, say like loneliness we were talking about before, as you start coming out of that, maybe you run into someone and you become really good friends with them, but then all of a sudden out of nowhere they've got like a trip for a week or something, or 2 weeks, and you don't see them for a while and you're not really communicating anymore, and it's like you feel like you're sinking back down into the muck. Well, no, the only way that you sink back down into it is if you believe you are. And perhaps that person is gone on a 2 week, business trip or vacation or something, because while you had that one thing work out, you were still kind of focused on the negative and the like, oh well, I've got this one, but oh, I'm still so lonely, and you're doing a bit of that, poo pooing. um, that can get in the way of your life and other opportunities you may have. Number one, just because you have one friend doesn't mean you can't have 50 if you want them. And two, you manifested that into your life through your beliefs. Everything that happens in your own personal story is there because of you, which means you've got the ultimate power over it. Not that it's not that it's a negative thing, it's that you can spin that however you'd like at that point. You are in control. So take that positivity that you felt because you found one friend, for example, and apply it to imagine meeting another one and feeling that again. Like stay in that feeling of how good it felt. Because when you're in, as Amondi pointed to, those frequencies of thankfulness, of joy, um, those will keep coming into your life because you are matching that frequency. If you've seen the chart of consciousness, um, all the different frequencies on that chart, if you're staying in gratitude, gratitude's very high on that. And as you stay there, everything in your life, well, number one, things will come into your life quicker. Number two, they'll be in a more positive way because you're in that state of gratitude. It's like you just shouted into the cave, thank you. And the cave just echoed back, thank you, like 20 times as you heard it, ricochet off the walls all the way down. So if that helps, I guess. Yeah.
Well, you know what? That's it's funny you saying that. It actually helped me because it brought up a few things that I remember. How I was obviously I got over it since, but how I was acting when I felt lonely, and or I actually my loneliness was heavily dependent on me feeling I didn't have, as opposed to really being lonely. I always had a difficult relationship with my mother, and I remember growing up and looking for a substitute to that. So another mother, I was always open to it, and I've been given it. However, I didn't. I remember I was longing for that, but I didn't. I wasn't specific how I wanted it. I just wanted what other people had. Uh, but then it turns
That's
out
important
that
too. Yeah.
what people had wasn't exactly what I wanted, and it wasn't all
Mm-hmm.
that. So every time you wish for some things, you have to remember as well that you you may just see the ideal on the surface, but without all the details and the inner work that comes with it as well. Because I had to do my own work for myself as well, and
Mm-hmm.
and part of it, like you just said, blessed gratitude, big time, big
Mm-hmm.
time. I liked a lot of it, big time, and I realized people didn't see me as being lonely at the time. I saw myself as such. But then by the time I had the opportunity to have someone that treated me like their son,
Mm-hmm.
um, I didn't recognize it because it's simply not exactly how I thought it would be. And that gave me a greater perspective. Now, obviously, I'm far from that situation because now,
Sure.
obviously, I am my own mother, I am my own father. I'm able to bring that to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it is really important. The I mean, what's really important is the perception you have on things you want, you desire.
Right. And
And
having a
even when
clear desire
why,
too,
and
like
even when you get
keep the
them,
signal clean.
are you still swinging that sword? Are you still fighting? Or are you still trying to or woe is me?
Mm-hmm.
Although you're in a relationship, you have all of these, but it's not good enough because you have high expectation on your partners or on your business partner. It could be, or you heavily reliant on that because you feel that now you have it, they should be bringing you this and that. No one
Right.
should bring you anything. The reality is,
Mm-hmm.
it's all
You bring it
coming
into
from
your own
within.
existence. Yep.
Right. I remember that. I remember like feeling that way. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was tough for me. I had to do a lot of processing, and these are the things I'll share during the event. I had to process certain things and change the angle in which I was, looking at certain situations and change my perspective. Basically, a lot of that it's shifting to a different frequency. Like you say, the map of
Mm-hmm.
consciousness is really helpful for that. But
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
how do you go from that layer of consciousness to the next layer of consciousness, and how do you
Right.
shift to this? Because that's
And
also can be challenging as well.
yeah, absolutely. Because you tell people, or suggest. I try very, very much with my wording to not ever tell people what they should do. But I would suggest, if you move into a state of thankfulness, at first, it's like, thankful for what? This is wrong. That's wrong. What am I thankful? Like, when you get outraged about it, and that's normal. I've been there. Hi. Uh, but it's not about the moment that you start doing that, you are agreeing to lower frequencies in your life because you are now agreeing back to like anger, scorn, bitterness, betrayal, whatever it is that's motivating that feeling. That's keeping you rooted down. because it's not about, yes, it's very important to be thankful for what you have, and recognize the good things, because that starts a pattern of keeping you in those higher frequencies. It's not about like, you should be thankful for the apple that you got, even though your neighbor and everybody around you is just sitting on apple trees or something. Like they have this abundance, and you've got this one little thing. Because now the moment you do that, you're comparing yourselves to them. They have their own private reality. You have yours. So I understand the draw to do that, but remember that you are in the pilot seat. I know we've said that before, and yeah, definitely go into that more at the event. You are in control the whole time. So that's a beautiful thing if you just allow yourself to see it that way. Like, oh, I can change everything. I can have all my, greatest hopes and dreams, relationship I always wanted, the business deal I always wanted, whatever. Yeah, you can. You can. You have whatever you wish you can have. You just it's on you though to bring it in, because it's all you. It's all you. So
1,000%.
Mm.
You know what? I would say this. You do have to be aware that about what you truly want. Part of
Yes.
it is to take time, be in stillness, and reflect. Because the last thing you want to do, it's manifest a Frankenstein version of what you want,
Right.
an old distorted version of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did it, and that's why I wasn't happy. I was like, wow. But I'm grateful for the experience, because I was able to realize that is not what I want.
Mm-hmm.
That is not my idea of a mother.
Right. Even in
So
those moments, at least you can go, oh, well, that wasn't quite it. Don't beat yourself up. Don't, fall back down. Just be like, oh, nah, not quite. It's like, imagine you're just tuning a radio and you're looking for that perfect station that you like listening to, old school with the knob, and you just spin through all the frequencies. You're just a little off. That's all. You're picking up the polka station and you're trying to get to your hip hop station or whatever. The polka's it's there, and you don't have to focus on the polka. Just move the dial a little bit. Don't give that your energy.
Absolutely. And I was putting it on a pedestal, but you know what? It's funny, because I was willing to look at it for what it is and show gratitude to it. Another relationship actually came into my life. I just had to recognize that as being a blessing, and it's a sister,
Mm-hmm.
someone that's really dear to me. I was looking for a mother, but I inherited a sister. I was really I didn't expect that.
Mm-hmm.
So also, when you're trying to always measure the outcome, and it has to come this way and that way, and it's got to be like that, it's a limiter in itself. You don't have a clue what the universe has for you. So
Right.
sometimes you have to be willing to relinquish that control.
Absolutely. That's the idea of surrender, and I myself
Yeah.
included get a lot of people get hung up on that idea at first, because it's like, surrender, like I'm already just scraping by, or whatever. Or I barely have this functional relationship hanging on by a thread. Like, what am I going to surrender to? It's just going to fall apart. Like, well, imagine that whatever you think your best possible outcome to life is with relationships, in the context of what we're discussing, imagine that isn't even anywhere near as good as it can get, because you don't even know. Like, you are connected to everything you could have. If you leave room to just be surprised, or for the universe to do its thing, if you'd like to put it that way, you could get an even better outcome. Don't limit you. Don't put yourself in a box. Just leave the lid open at least. So
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, and I know, I mean, once you want a laugh partner, you want a laugh partner. You're not looking for a sister, brother, or this is usually how it goes. Like, for a lot
sure.
of people, they're like, I'm not looking for that, but stay open.
Mm-hmm. Right. That sounds like
Don't,
that's been an extremely fulfilling experience for you too. Like,
yeah,
it surprised you, but it's like, that's pretty good.
yeah. So
Like,
don't deny the other blessings, the other type
yeah,
of relationship that might come into your life. Um, you know, it's very surprising how things unfold sometimes if you let them.
I have a question for that. So, how do you balance being specific in the thing you want to manifest and staying open? That just seems tricky to me.
Oh yeah, I can. Well, blessed. Maybe you want to answer first. Let me just give my
Yeah,
version.
I would agree it's tricky. And I could even give an example. It was a desire. It's not relationship. I manifested a truck into my life. I needed a new truck. And this time, knowing what I know now, I was still in the early stages of this, remembrance awakening process. But it was like, all right, I'm going to put this manifestation thing to the test. And I imagined it, every little detail that I wanted in a truck and all this. I wanted something nice. God forbid I have something nice in my life, or that's how I thought back then. So I did so, except I didn't imagine certain things like what color was it, or you skip a few things and then you get surprised by those. This is not a color I would have picked for a truck, but I did end up with it, and I love the color. But that was open, so it's like, okay, I was very very specific aside from these few things, and they were wild cards with the vehicle. It's still what I was manifesting, but the things that surprised me ultimately did end up being nice. Like they were like, I'm good with them. Like, oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, I didn't even think about that. But my default state at that time was one of a higher frequency life, let's say. Like I was staying in those energies of love and gratefulness and all of that. So I would suggest that when you leave items open to be fulfilled, it's going to pull from where you're at in your own life. So if you want to manifest something for yourself and you're not quite sure, how the details are going to work, you just know you want this thing. Like you want a life partner. Maybe you don't have a, you know, like blonde, brunette, whatever picked out or anything like that. But like if you just stay open to that and you stay in those higher frequencies, you'll get something that will just, knock your socks off, so to speak, because you're already vibing up here. You don't need to know the details because you're already vibing higher. So likewise, if you're in a lower state and you're just leaving things open ended, well, maybe you won't get something that you're terribly pleased with, So I would say the background to the random or to the wild cards is your own default state. So what do you think about that?
I agree with what you're saying. I'm gonna try to explain my interpretation of it. So
Sure.
basically, details. I like to associate details to preference. So when you prefer something, you just go for the thing you prefer, right? You don't just say if you're in front of food and there's artichokes on one side and the strawberries and you prefer strawberries, you're just not gonna acknowledge the artichokes. You're gonna go for the strawberries and so on, right? So
Oh
you don't
yeah.
waste time to trying to just so sometimes when you too detail artist, what you end up to do is too much preventions. I'm going to make sure that I don't get that type of relationship, not that type of person, and you start putting up all the red flags first before you even follow
Mm.
that side of you that naturally would just smile and be excited about the things they prefer.
Kind of like polluting
um
your signal right away, huh?
yeah, so that's
Yeah.
really what it is, as far as being a lot more gentle with your approach and be in your heart space rather than be in your head and let it unfold. And also another thing as well, the time constraint. We know time is an illusion. Why
Hmm.
would you manifest something and one of the prior setting to your manifestation is time? Decide when it must come, because it must come in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, or when I'm right, when I'm okay, because you've decided, give me 6 months, I'm going to hit the gym, my body will be great, and then I'm sure like I'll be ready for it.
Hmm.
You already assume that that's the time you need. You don't know. You might meet your ID person within a week, within 2 days, 3 days,
Or
an
would
hour.
have, but now that you did that, you just
But now
whiz
you
right
did
by
that.
each other.
Yeah, you opt out
Yeah.
for all these options.
Yes,
So
that's an important one, guys. I am guilty of that myself when it comes to the time aspect, because me and time uh, may see differently from one another sometimes. But yeah, what Moni's saying is very important, because maybe it's 3 weeks and one day, but you're like, no, it must happen in 3 weeks, and then it's like, okay, well, so much for this, golden, this basket of gold that I was about to give you, because oh, you can't wait one more day or
uh,
whatever.
And then it gets you also confused because when you do that, what you do, say you say, okay, give myself, say you met somebody, right? And you're like, okay, 2 months. I gotta know like that's the right person within 2 months. And then you make your decision, say, not for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because you like maybe something didn't come up, something you were looking for, they didn't on their own volition, they were not able to provide you that particular in that period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they don't have it. You'll never know now. All right.
Right.
And now another person come up and then show you that particular you're looking for right away. And you're like, bam, this is it. You're going for that person. Then you realize, there's so many other things. What I'm trying to
Yes.
say, you're convincing yourself that as the right person.
Right. You're
The way
you're
we
being
experience things is really important. So when
yes.
you're I understand that we want. I think there's a confusion between being in control and stepping into your power. And part of stepping into your power is to know that you're in absolute sync with the universe, and the universe will deliver the perfect match to you. And that goes for
Yes.
everything. And I think that's if that answer your question, Malikta. This is the way I see it in to remain in sync with the universe and this old experience and this round one. I think it's important to acknowledge that aspect and be very aware of how time work, and when you decide to be in control, so to speak, but you put the time into consideration too much, it means you're relinquishing your control when it comes to that aspect,
Right.
because you saying you're subservient to the idea, the concept of time,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
which for manifestation is not ideal.
right. And even to your point, it made me think too. Like for the example that I used later on, I stopped even worrying about like details for things that I just wanted in my life experience. Uh, because when you get to a certain point, as you brought up, oh, they must have this quality, and I must see it by this time or whatever. Are you what you're really doing? And maybe this seems subtle, or hopefully I can explain this. You are effectively saying they will not be enough unless I control this piece of the puzzle. And the moment that you're controlling that piece of the puzzle, you're in fear, right? Because control is fear inherently. So the moment that you're trying to control that, when you're dealing with relationships, especially, like it's one thing, I guess, some inanimate object or something, but like when you're dealing with other people, like you are now inserting fear into it, because as Amoni was getting to, the universe bends in your direction. It always does. It's just what it works in spite of you, not because of you, in a lot of ways. So if you just get out of your own way and just trust that you got your own back, you won't even need to have a little laundry list. You'll just vibe exactly where you are in your authenticity. And someone that's a perfect match for that's just going to vibe right in there too. You'll just bump into them one day. So, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Maybe we can ask the question again for Corey. Second,
Yeah.
you should say.
Yeah, go ahead. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yep,
Sound
Okay,
good,
okay,
B?
okay,
absolutely.
okay.
Yeah, we can hear you. So we have about 10 more minutes on the live, so we'll just kind of extend it a
Wait, I
few more
thought it
minutes.
started at 2.
We started at like one. It's all right. We've been here for about 20
Oh,
minutes. It's okay.
oh,
It's
okay.
all right.
All right.
So what we talked about loneliness yesterday. So what
Hmm.
we're doing today is we're looking at when you transition out of loneliness, how can you do that without having all the residue of that past frequency still stuck on you? How do you get out of that frequency in
Mm.
a clean way?
Um, that's a great question, and the answer isn't one people gonna like, but the answer is really it depends on the person. I don't know how many times we got to say this, but you are the author of your story. So if you want it to be clean and fast, then it'll be clean and fast. If you want to take your time to de-traumatize yourself, then you can do that as well. There's no set time or motion that people can operate that's going to work for every single person. And I know that to be true because my own story, I was very good at suppressing trauma. So I never, and not even suppression. I just ceased to believe it existed. So I just didn't operate in a way that I had trauma. And so when I would enter new relationships, I would always say, okay, this is a clean slate. Not the old person can't, the new person can't pay for what the old person did. And that was just my mentality going into all relationships. So again, like I said, some people, the old relationship has left such a stain that they can't move on from it, and no, let me not say that. They can, they're choosing not to.
Right.
Um, because if I say you can't, then that takes the power from you, and that's just not true. You have the power to make this thing whatever you want it to be, and that's again, like I'm no relationship coach, so I tell people all the time, you want relationship advice, I'm not the one to come to because I'm gonna tell you pull your pants up and stop acting like a bitch. That's what I'm gonna tell you. Like, you know what I mean? Because like at
Some
the end
people
of the
need to hear
day,
that, though.
I mean, the truth is, at the end of the day, everybody looking for somebody to coddle them, and you don't need coddling. You need the truth, which is you control it. So if you want it to take longer, it'll take longer. If you want it to take a short time, it'll take a short time. You're in control of your story, of your whole experience. Um, Again, I don't deal in limiting beliefs, so not anymore anyway. And so anything I'm telling you is going to be telling you from a place of empowerment and to get you out of limiting beliefs. So you you want to leave the residue of the past in the past, and just simply do that. You choose these emotions, by the way. Like let's not act like these emotions are attached to you and you have to abide by them, because if that was the case, then you wouldn't be able to manifest. Manifestation is a willing choice to change your frequency. And so if you're making a willing decision to change your frequency, you can make a willing decision to leave the past in the past and totally forget it. It ain't suppression. Suppression is still there, but I don't want to deal with it. Freedom from it is it was there. I dealt with it. I'm moving on from it. And when I say deal with it, it doesn't always mean having to talk to somebody or get counseling, although those things are great too. Sometimes it's just making a conscious decision that I'm not going to let that rule my life.
Right. Like he just set it down and walked away. Like
Yeah, yeah.
that simple.
You just set it down and you walk away
Yeah.
because shit, you can do that. Like
Mhm.
people keep
Yeah.
telling you the things you can't do, and that's crazy to me because ye are God. You can do whatever you want.
You know what? You actually mentioned something, Corey. You say
Mm-hmm.
about the idea that some people may suppress it and not deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I actually even come to a point in my life where I realize there's nothing to deal with.
There you
Yeah.
go. There you
So
go.
there's this idea of and it's lot linked to the medical corpus,
Mm-hmm.
the idea that there's always something wrong with you and you need to check it all the time. And
Right.
then I'm not saying you can't check on yourself. You can and see how you do, and it's okay now and again. You can touch base with yourself. But
Mm-hmm.
when you keep on being in a pattern where you keep on doing it and always, um, there's got to be someone that's here to, and I'm talking about that someone be you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, hold on, time out, time to remain still, and let's see what comes up.
Yeah.
Many people don't allow themselves to say, first of all, there's nothing wrong with me. There's
Right.
nothing wrong with my situation.
Right.
Okay, let me be in stillness, quiet a little, stop listening all that rubbish, and see what come up. Really, it's very
Yes.
effective
Yes.
because this idea that we always have to interfere with ourselves as well. It's a bit of a I must do something and I must clean
Yeah.
this and I
Yeah.
must
Yeah.
unlock this and
Oh
unlock
yeah.
that.
I have to fix something. I have to
Yeah.
fix something.
And all you're really saying is I'm inadequate. I'm inadequate. I'm
And
not
guess what
enough.
that's going to
Like
get you in life? More inadequacy.
right.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, oh mind you just basically put the cherry on top of everything I said, because truth be told, whatever you suppressing, you was meant to experience it anyway. You chose to experience it. You chose to come experience the heartbreak. Cool. Now, how do you deal with it? Move on from it. It's like we say all the time, I'm the sky. All of this shit is just clouds.
Right.
So the heartbreak, the letdowns, the past relationships, let's move. I don't listen. I'm no longer experiencing any of my past relationships. So what do they matter to me? Like, if you really think about it, your past relationships are literally that, past. And since we live in a linear time situation here in realm one, it's almost easier to deal with because once it's gone, it's gone. You're
Right.
never going to be able to go back and change any of it or fix it. And you shouldn't want to, because literally everything we went through made us what we are today. And any choices we would have made different would have made a whole different timeline and a whole different outcome. So if you're here listening to us today, maybe that's because you did go through what you went through. If you didn't go, if you went back and changed it, maybe you wouldn't even be listening to us today, right? Maybe you wouldn't even be pursuing these higher frequency this higher frequency experience had you go back and change those things. It's like the butterfly effect, right? You know, you go back and
Right.
change something, it
Exactly.
don't
Yep.
everybody thinks that if they could go back and change things that it would end in a better outcome. Everybody believes that.
Right.
Everybody, I used to say this all the time, like just for example, if I could go back to 2010 and buy Bitcoin, yeah, it sounds good to me now because I know what Bitcoin is now. But what if I did that and that ended up in me being murdered? Or
Right.
that ended up in like my whole family being murdered because some people were trying to steal my stuff. Like, we always assume the best possible outcome if we can go back and change.
Right. And
Yeah, it's
if you can assume that best possible outcome when you look at the past,
Why not assume, why
why
not even create the best possible out? Thank you. There
yeah,
you go.
you're here, you're always here and it's always now.
It's
So
always
take
now.
that same idea and just apply
Yeah.
it to where
Apply
you're
it to
at
right
now.
now.
yeah.
Why
There's no
can't you
need
just
to
have the best
recreate.
possible outcome now?
There's
Right.
no need to recreate the idea of the wheel, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like someone thought, you know what, we need something circular
Mm-hmm.
so we can make bicycle.
Mm-hmm.
That person was the first one to think about it. You trying
Right.
to go and recreate that, what would you?
Right. Or like, how is that going to change the creation that's already been made?
Yeah,
And then
but
two, why would you? You literally wanted this experience. I know it feels crazy to say that, like, I wanted this shitty stuff to happen to me, or I wanted these bad relationships. I know that sounds crazy conceptually, but when you think of it on a soul level, how do you know what a bad relationship is if you don't experience one?
Right.
Learning comes from experience only. The knowledge we have on the other side is from eons of different experiences we've come down in different realms and different, and I'm not just talking about realm one, like different constructs. Like, the
Mhm.
soul didn't get created when this construct was created. The soul is eternal. So the soul has always been exploring, always been in constructs, always been in and out. And the only difference is with this construct, you got to be born and you got to die out of it. That's really the only physical difference. Other than that, you can pop in and out of all these different experiences. And you literally are, as a soul, that's literally what your purpose is, to have experience so that you can gain more knowledge of self, pretty
Mhm.
much.
so in
And
regard to
so,
that event, I was just gonna say one last thing. So basically, where this event is really, I'm talking about the Great Unlock, really useful. It's we will share our own experiences and
correct.
how we began to step away from these reoccurring patterns that
Mm-hmm.
we kept on having. Our own experience will explain to you what we had to do in order to stop doing the same thing that no longer served us. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are experiencing it now. So
Mm-hmm.
you'll have the ability to ask us questions and we'll answer your question for at least a good hour. So
Good. Good.
that's why I
Mhm.
think you should, if you can, uh,
Yeah, and
register.
we stay until the questions are answered too. So
Right.
last
Right.
time it was more than an hour, and that's okay. It just
Yeah.
we want to make sure that you guys get the value that you need. So when you walk away from it, you're empowered and you take that into your life now, and
Correct.
everything gets better. So
Yeah, and that's ultimately why we're even doing these events,
mhm.
is ultimately so that you can apply what you're hearing from us and test it and see.
Yeah, put it to the test.
Yeah, and to be honest, some stuff will resonate, some stuff won't. Some stuff will work differently from you for you than it did for us. We all different souls.
Mhm.
But there's certain things just from a manifestation point we need to make sure we hunker down into so that we can understand that this works for relationships, for everything, and not just, material gain or better life, own personal better life, but even relationships. Like you have to manifest that too. Like all of everything is manifestation. It's no, there is no thing
Mhm.
where you're, even when you think you're not manifesting, you are. And so
Constantly.
whether it's relationships, whether you manifest in a bad relationship or a good one, you manifest in a relationship. So I think we're gonna talk a lot about that. And I think if you came to the first one, this will kind of double down on it. If you didn't come to the first one, it'll probably make you go back and watch the first one, because simply put, it's so much foundational stuff in there that is going to help you even understand this more on Sunday. So I'm super excited about it. Like I'm can I be I wouldn't be my authentic self if I didn't say this. I wasn't really excited about this one because I don't really care about relationships. I don't really think about that. I mean, not that I don't care about it. I don't think about it in terms of that way. I just have them. Whoever I have a relationship with, I have, and I wasn't thinking about how I can actively pursue better relationships. And so I'm gonna talk more about my personal experience, like even my marital life and how that got better once I started understanding um, my power within these relationships. So I'm super excited. I'm way more excited about it at first because, like I said, I feel like in the beginning I didn't feel like I had a lot to offer because I don't really know much. Like I feel like, what do I know about people having relationships? I'm an idiot. But now I see what it is, and even through my meditation and putting time into figuring that out,
Mhm.
I got a lot of good downloads and things that have been happening over the last 3-4 weeks that's gonna really contribute to the conversation. So I'm super excited. I'm
Yeah.
super
Yeah, me
excited.
too.
So
I love that. Thank you guys. So we're gonna have to wrap it up. I'm sorry, y'all, for today. We will be live all this week, so you can catch us around the same time every day. And like everyone was mentioning, the event is on this Sunday, so it's February 22nd at 2 p.m. Eastern. We'll be live on Zoom, and if you can make it, that'll be great. Also, if you weren't able to make the last two events, we do have them on the website where you can get those and watch those. If you go to the site, it would be under courses, so you would just find it there. We'll put a link in the chat for those. And just one more announcement for today: we have set up sponsorships for the event. So if you want to sponsor the event or know a company that wants to sponsor the event, that information is on the website as well, and we'll get that out. Just want to make sure we are producing the best quality event and we're bringing the greatest amount of value to everyone. So we're just kind of expanding the way we're doing that right now. But for today, I think we are done. Any last words?
No.
see y'all on Sunday.
See you on
Yeah.
Sunday,
Yeah.
right?
Go see
See you
Sunday. That's a
Sunday,
good one.
exactly.
Perfect.
All right.
All right.
Ciao.
Yeah.
Bye.
See you guys.